What's good, YouTube? It's Corey Save BB, and I'm back with another vlog video. Um, this time, I'm just gonna talk about. I wrote down some stuff that I think is worth talking about, and it's '90s cartoons. My my fondest memory of watching cartoons when I was about six years old. Um, obviously, my date of birth was 1992. Actually, my whole date of birth was 2/13/92. I grew up on a lot of Batman. I grew up on a lot of Scooby Doo. I grew up on a lot of the Flintstones. I grew up around the Flintstones. Mostly Boomerang, but mostly I grew up around Batman. Batman was the one superhero who who um who had a impact in my childhood. Ever since Batman's always been my favorite, and still to this day, you know is my favorite superhero. Yeah, he don't really have no superpowers. Everybody knows that. But he's always been, that superhero that was just, outsmarting the other, foes or opponents. His by his gadgets and his, intellectual, you know, uh, intelligence. He had a lot of sidekicks. Obviously, Robin. But other than Batman, SpongeBob was around. The Fairy Godparents was around. Uh, the Simpsons was around. Friends was around. But strictly about cartoon. The landscape of cartoon was different. You know, from the early '80s through the '90s. It's been up and down. There's a debate. There could be a debate on who had the better cartoons, the '80s or the '90s. To be honest with you, I wasn't born. Obviously I wasn't born in the '80s, so I wouldn't really. I really wouldn't. I really wouldn't know what '80s cartoons was like. But I heard it wasn't really that bad. Obviously I had to look up. I had to look up. I had to look up some '80s cartoons. I couldn't really. The only one that the only thing the only yeah I couldn't really lie. Uh, I couldn't really find any '80s cartoons that was around that I said, okay, here we go, did this and that. So, but I could give you my top five '90s cartoons of all time. Not in any particular order of eras. 97, 92, and 8. The first one is obviously Batman the Animated Series. The second one is Dragon Ball Z. The third one is Mighty Ducks. The fourth one is Rugrats. and the fifth one is Gargoyles. That's literally my top five cartoons of the '90s. Uh, and most people, a lot of people might have different opinions on that. A lot of people might have different uh, their top fives. Batman may not be on that list. It might be number three, it might be number four, but that's just my list on the cartoons I grew up watching around the '90s. Um, early 2000 cartoons wasn't really that bad. It was roughly, you know, um, it was roughly, reruns, remakes, or just reruns. Not necessarily remakes. Obviously, you had Yu-Gi-Oh. You had Jackie Chan Adventures. Um, what else? You had Cubics. You have you had obviously Power Rangers. Um, but I don't really consider Power Rangers a cartoon show. It's mostly a TV show. It's usually just a regular TV show. There was Toe Bite Ginger. Um, there was obviously Static Shock. There's X Men. Um, yeah, man, there was a lot. Early 2000 cartoons wasn't really that bad. That's when they, start getting bored. That's when the writers started getting bored, and then obviously it was Family Guy, American Dad. Um, Obviously South Park became a big hit. Um, South Park was around 1999. A lot of people don't really, know that, but a lot of the later cartoons, was around like 1999. Yeah, so 90s cartoons wasn't really that bad. Um, it's better than the cartoons that's right out right now. Obviously, um, people can take their assumptions about whether they like today's cartoons. The only one cartoon I like of today's is Adventure Time. Adventure Time is not really a bad, really isn't really a bad TV show. And the second one, I only watched like two. That was obviously Adventure Times, and what else? It was Mordecai and Rigby, I believe. The regular show. There you go. The regular show. Those are the only two shows I watch around the 2010 era. Other than that, I didn't even watch nothing. Adult Swim became more of a, they took out Toonami. Obviously, Toonami had a whole bunch of, you know, um, really good TV shows. They had Bebop. They had Bishop. Um, they had they had Phil. They had Full Optimus. No, no, not Optimus. They had Transformers. Obviously, they had Naruto. They had One Piece. So they had a pretty good lineup every Saturday at 9, which was a school night. I know, man. Like I'll be watching like Naruto would start like around 7, and then you see like the little Toonami robot with the big spaceship. Uh, you know, it was. Cartoons have came a long way. Even Disney cartoons, the ones that obviously Hercules, Aladdin, Lion King. You know what I'm saying? Like when that when they all had their first hit, as a movie, we all knew that oh, like they was gonna make a sequel. They was gonna make a second one. They was gonna make a second one of The Lion King. They was make a second one of the Aladdin. Second one of Hercules. I don't even think they made a second Hercules movie. I'm not sure. But other than that, I mean, 80s cartoons, 90s cartoons, early 2000 cartoons, mid to 2010 cartoons wasn't really that bad. A lot of people bitch and complain about today's cartoons, you know. I mean, sometimes you just have to, adjust. Obviously, I don't really adjust because I really don't have time, nor I don't really have the patience to just sit there and watch today's cartoons. Obviously, I ordered a few Dragon Ball Z movies. I ordered the trilogy of Batman. I mean, obviously, I posted it. I posted it on my page not too long ago. I have the Batman animated series. I have the Batman trilogy. I have all '90s movies of the Batman. So yeah, so usually I won't watch them all at once, but I watch them like every other 2 years or whatever. Like I have the Batman. Like I'm gonna get the Batman Beyond animated series. So I could get my son, infatuated with Batman because he likes PJ Maxx and whatever have you. But those are just kids' TVs. So but tell me what y'all think. Um, Tell me what y'all think about like who's your top five favorite '90s cartoons. It could be '80s cartoons. It could be early 2000. It could be further on. Yeah. So tell me what you think. Like comment on the comment section below in any order or year. What was your favorite animated TV shows? Like I would put Superman in there, but I mean, I had to take out Superman to put in Spider Man because Spider Man was my second favorite cartoon to watch, the animated series cartoon. So I mean, I watched a little bit of Superman, but it was just boring. You know, like it was just boring. But yeah, tell me what y'all think. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other. Peace.